Morning, everybody. What's going on? Today we're going to talk about leasing a vehicle. Does it make sense? Is leasing worth it? Should you lease a vehicle when you go to a dealership, or should you finance it the traditional way that you should finance a car? A lot of us, we go to these dealerships, and of course you have a couple different options, and one of them is leasing. Now, a lot of you know one of the worst assets you could possibly buy in this world is a vehicle. It's a depreciating asset. It really carries no value from the moment you step into it, from the moment you drive off that dealership lot. It has already depreciated 30 to maybe 40% in depreciation. Why would I buy such a bad asset? For a lot of reasons. Some of us feel our self-esteem builds when we have nice vehicles. Some of us feel it just makes sense to just work 2-3 jobs just to drive a car. But some of us must understand the truth about the world that we call leasing. You really don't own it. You're just kind of borrowing a car for a certain amount of time just to be able to eventually say that you have the newest version of that car, because again, you're going to eventually lease in the next 2-3 years again. A lot of you don't understand leasing is kind of like renting, okay? You're paying on something every single month, but you really never own that something. But the truth is, why do a lot of people do it? Sometimes their payments are cheaper. Sometimes the salesman just talk them into some type of baloney contract that they truly can't understand, and they think logically it makes sense. A lot of us don't understand there's a lot of contingencies inside of dealership contracts, because why? They're of course telling you can't drive a certain amount of miles, you have to maintenance the car at a certain time, there's so much rules into leasing because they're hoping that you mess up, and of course they get to make more money. This is coming from a background. I used to own a dealership for 9 years. I was financing people all night long. If you're in the business, if you truly understand how money works, if you own a car dealership, it's simple. Put people in debt. That's just how simple, straightforward it is. But a lot of you need to understand leasing may not be the best option for you unless, let's change the scenario. Hypothetically, you have $10,000 to $20,000 coming passively from a real estate asset or a real estate portfolio. You own several properties. You have $10,000 to $20,000 coming in. Would it make sense to lease? Yes, because now your passive income is paying off that debt. Imagine I want a Lambo, which I'm going to have a Lambo soon. Now, who's going to pay for that Lambo? Not me. What I'm going to essentially do as I'm building up my passive income portfolio, I'm going to have my passive income portfolio pay that car note. So let's say that my car note is $3,000. Then I'll take $3,000 of the $20,000 I'm making per month and have that $3,000 pay off my monthly car payment of the Lamborghini. People, that's what you call smart investing. That's what you call smart leasing if you want to lease. But a lot of you need to understand how life works. Leasing is simply just renting something that you're never going to own with a whole bunch of contingencies. That's why I just never understand when people rent for so long. I understand when you rent short term, sometimes you just got to make ends meet. But there is a problem when you're renting long term, 6-7 years, you could have bought a property cash. So be smart when you go to these dealerships. The worst investment you could possibly make, we all know, is buying a depreciating asset, which is a car. But a lot of us buy it because, again, we got to get from A to B. But just remember, just buy cars you can afford. And at the end of the day, if you can't afford it, just don't buy it. And instead of leasing, just finance a cheaper car until the time gets right. Mentourme.com.